Welcome to the Beach Chair, where we talk about anything under the beautiful sun of La Union. From food, surfing, art, wellness, the community, and the people that make La Union a dream destination. Hi again everyone. For today's episode, we are having yoga teacher, Mr. Troy Bernardo. Welcome to the show, Troy.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to Alpas TV. Okay, so Troy, I introduce you as a yoga teacher. But what do you do?
I do a lot of things. Yoga is just part of it. Yoga is what I used to give back to the community. And by community, not just La Union, but all over.
Okay. Are you from here or are you from Manila?
I was born in Cebu. I lived in Makati. And then I moved to La Union right before the lockdown.
Okay, so before we go to your La Union story, kasi I remember seeing you during COVID, and then I always see you next to Flotsam by the church. So parang by that time, syempre medyo lumiit yung community, nawala yung mga tourists, and then I rarely go out. I mean, we never had a proper conversation. We say hi to each other, and then I don't even know where you live. So apparently you live there pala sa Pentecostal. And then, I remember having this conversation. I attended one event only to find out that he used to be in finance. He used to be in finance. So, how did you eventually get into... What's the story behind that? How did you eventually get into yoga?
I used to be in corporate. And because I thought that that was the path that we all took back in the day. And then when I decided to follow my real passion, which is to write, I quit the corporate job. I started becoming a writer. I started out as a travel writer. And then now...
From magazine?
Yes, from
Okay.
magazine. I used to do Mabuhay.
Okay.
I would write for Smile. Anything that took me out of the city.
But how many years in corporate? Like
In corporate, maybe 7.
7 years. Okay.
On the 7th year, I got the 7-year itch.
Okay.
And I said, you know what, I can't do this anymore.
Okay.
And then I got into writing. So that's the art world. And then from there, because I had more time, I explored stuff like meditation, yoga, because I needed more from life than what life was giving me at the time.
And while these are all happening, you were based in Manila.
I was based in
Okay.
Manila. And then so I decided, you know what, I think I'm going to try joining yoga classes. And I did. I used to do Ashtanga. And that's how I fell in love with yoga. And the effects on me were incredible.
Ashtanga because parang you really like it because it's always the same, parang everything.
Ashtanga has a primary and a secondary
Yes,
series, but it's such an active practice that
that
every inhale you're doing something, every exhale you're doing something.
and
so
there's
there was-
progression.
Yes, and there's no time to think. So you're just doing the practice.
Okay.
And I like that. And I think that trained me also for meditation after.
And
And then eventually I decided to take a 300-hour course after a 200-hour course. I have a total of 500.
here in the Philippines, or you had to go abroad?
In the Philippines,
Okay.
I took the course through Urban Ashram. But my teachers, like for 200 hours, my teacher was Sarah Bell from Yoga Works. And my 300 teacher was Joan Hyman from Yoga Works.
All of these done here in the Philippines. So, did you have to go abroad? Did you travel abroad to do anything?
No.
Okay.
And I'm glad I did it here because it was just in Ayala. They had the studio in Ayala, and I would just walk every day. That's 5 days a week for a month, at least for the 200 hours.
And then, how did you end up in LU?
Well, for that, I have to credit Chino Neri
Okay.
because Chino and I had a project with Norma. He was going to teach them videography. I was teaching the staff how to write stories.
Okay.
We were
Norma School.
the school.
So you're
the
teaching
colleges.
kids. You're teaching...
No, we were teaching the staff. The teachers.
Okay.
and some of the students.
To teach or primarily just a workshop?
Just a workshop,
Okay.
creative workshop,
Uh-huh.
which sort of helped how to unleash their creativity. So through yoga, through meditation, through different exercises and lectures on it. So he was the one who brought me here.
Do you remember when was that?
This was right before the pandemic.
So 2020, 2019. 2019.
2020.
2020.
Right before the lockdown.
Okay, before March.
I got locked down here.
I know.
And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to stay till...
You got
Holy
locked
week.
down by choice or
Well, I had the choice whether to go back.
to go back?
Manila. That one day.
The
that I
window.
could move. And I decided, you know what, I'll just stay till Holy Week. And then Holy Week came and went, and I'm still here. 2-3 years later.
But have you tried surfing before?
I have,
Okay.
and I had, but I never got into it.
Okay.
In fact, even when I was living here, I wasn't into it.
Okay, so it was never an intention
It wasn't an intention.
that part of moving to La Union is because there's surf. Because we all know, because I also surf and sometimes I practice yoga, that surfing and yoga is a bit
They
related.
complement.
Okay, complement. Yes.
So it's sort of like you start off in Cobra on the board, and then when the wave comes, you jump up into...
Yeah. Tama, correct.
So those are the poses that
Uh-uh.
go through my mind whenever I surf.
So, does your view about surfing change in the last 3 years? You've been here 3 years or 2 years?
Yes. Because when I learned, my teacher was Basho.
Okay.
And back in the day, we would go out early in the morning.
Okay, so you really had to go through the lessons. Like someone
I went
pushed
through the
you
lessons,
and
then he would guide me. And then I thought it was going to be forever. You know, he was my personal coach.
okay.
I thought, you know what if I hire him on a monthly basis, like a personal trainer? And then he said, no. You just be on your own.
And then now you have your own board. You have your own
I
board?
do.
Okay.
So I made my own board.
But that's the only way. I mean, I would say that's the only way you will really learn how to surf on your own.
Yes, kasi sayang the investment.
Yeah. And then how often do you go, or do you still even go back to Manila?
I try not to, but usually I go back once a quarter.
Okay. And
New era.
the family is still in Cebu. So,
My family's in Manila.
in Manila. Okay.
And friends are in Manila also. So it's really just visits.
Okay, so there's no more like you completely turn your back in that corporate world.
Yes,
So no
totally.
more. No more connections in Manila.
No more.
No
more.
I mean in terms of work and okay. And I heard you since you mentioned earlier you're into writing. And I know you're working on a continuous project. It's called Hello Surftown.
Yes.
The magazine. So that's your brainchild. How did that came about?
It's not mine.
Okay.
It's actually Tina's.
And
And, the titles that we had there, they were just removed. So, because it's a team effort.
when you say titles, meaning
Like editor-in-chief, finance director, all these
okay,
things. They were removed because we all work as a team. So whatever it is that I write, everyone else edits anyway. So,
and all of you guys are based here in La Union.
yes.
Okay, so what is Hello Surftown about?
Hello Surftown is a lifestyleish magazine
Okay.
that focuses on the local culture, local people, and I guess local experiences of the people who actually live here. The locals, way before the residents came. So we did a feature on local entrepreneurs. And then our second issue, we did a feature on the legends, the local legends. The guys who started surfing way before San Juan became a surf spot.
A tourist spot.
And then in our third issue, it'll be J.R. Esquivel.
Okay. And then, so how often do you come out with
3 times a year.
So that's the sort of plan.
Yes.
Okay, so 3 times a year.
Yes.
Okay, and then really it's mainly focusing about what's the intention behind coming up with
The intention is to celebrate the local culture
okay
and to make tourists realize that,
That's
Knock,
more to
knock.
La Union.
This restaurant has a story. Mona Lisa, the oldest resort here, has a story. The people who live here have stories to tell. And a lot of the locals are not heard. So this is a venue for them to be heard.
And then in what medium do you publish Hello Surftown? Do you
It's on print,
on print?
but
Okay.
eventually they might want to migrate everything to the web.
Okay. So right now it's 100% on print.
Yes.
Okay.
It's available only in magazine form.
Okay, in magazine form. Going back, so after having all those hours studying yoga, do you currently teach yoga here in La Union?
I only do face-to-face teaching if I'm called to do an event.
Okay.
But otherwise, I teach every Thursdays from 7 to 8 for Urban Ashram. And it's online.
And you do it online.
Online.
Okay, so
Zoom.
even because all of this happened during the pandemic, like the online thing, everyone shifted to having all their classes online. So even now that everything's open, Urban Ashram still does classes online. Some people
Yes, because
still
it's harder now to open a yoga studio, especially in Manila, because all the costs have gone up. And
in
the
terms of
traffic is
rent,
bad in terms of rent, and traffic is bad. And people learn that, I can just roll out of bed, join a class.
Turn on my camera, turn on my laptop.
Yeah, and then take a shower, that's it.
And
They
also,
don't waste any time.
right.
And even for me as a teacher, I don't have to go to the actual studio. I can do it from my apartment.
Is it different or which do you prefer? Like, I mean, not naman one's better than the other, but like for example, because I like it when my yoga teacher is there, so he or she could actually correct me in my poses.
Yes, even me, that's what I miss.
Okay.
I miss being corrected. I miss being pulled and stretched. So I still prefer face-to-face. And given
Did
a
you have to
chance,
do any adjustments so it would still feel like
in Zoom, online, the adjustments is big. Because I have to keep looking and my eyes are not that good. So I would wear glasses while teaching.
and also at the same time you're teaching, talking, and doing the
Doing the
pose.
whole
Yeah.
routine. So I have to say, your legs are not straight.
Calling out people's
The
names.
right hand, use your right hand, not the left. Stuff like that.
I've also noticed, like, for example, whenever I travel or like when I go to Bali, when I go to Siargao, ang daming shala. Like, every place you go to. Because, like what I've said, there's, I would say, a lot of surfers are really also into yoga. But here in LU, I'm curious because I used to have a yoga teacher housemate before. And then after 1 year, she left. And then, so someone will come in, will teach regularly, and then after, alis na naman ulit. So what do you think is the reason why it's not common, but it's not as regular here in La Union?
I think it's not as popular. And I'm not sure why. Yeah, just to let you know, maybe it's also as soon as there are waves, people would rather be.
Correct.
Even I would rather.
Yeah. Because also it happens with my class because I also teach morning fitness classes.
Right.
And if I know na there's an incoming swell, pretty sure there's only like 2 or 1,
Yes.
3 or 3 guys left in my class.
Exactly.
And then would you say, does it affect, is it affected by the fact na only a lot of tourists that comes here in La Union only comes on weekends?
Yes, because usually it's the tourists who attend the classes, not the locals, not even the local residents.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people who do self-practice.
Here.
Yeah.
Can you think of any way? Because I'm curious. Because I really, I really want to practice regularly. But then again, also I get a lot of inquiries with my gym. Like, do you have a yoga teacher? Do you have a yoga class this weekend? parang what do you think? Do you have can you think of any solution to make it more regular? And
You know, your guess is as good as mine. It's a difficult business model, the yoga studio, because you have to cater to clients who are really high up on Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Okay.
Because yoga is not something that is top of mind in the needs of people. In fact, it's just an addition. But you know, for people who practice like myself, it's a real need because of the effects, what happens to you.
Because you're aware of the benefits.
Yes,
Yeah.
it improves your athletic performance. It does wonders to your posture. It increases flexibility. It when you do all these poses on the mat, you're in alignment. And you know, whatever happens in the mat is translated outside in life. So you can actually live an aligned life. All aspects of it falling into place, like physical, mental, emotional, financial, and spiritual.
Whatever you do on the mat while doing yoga translates to what you do off the
Yes,
mat.
and it'll
outside the
just fall into place even without thinking about it. The way you deal with anger changes, the way you deal with other people, the way you handle stress, if at all you still get stress.
Yeah.
It's a totally different.
So you mentioned earlier you only teach yoga when you get invited through events. So what kind of events? Like, do we have like strictly yoga events here in
Usually, some people come in, like I've done events for Alpas.
Okay.
And then I did an event for Hiraya, for Port San Juan. But the reason why I like doing these events is because there's a full class.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And I don't have to think of getting students.
I mean, you just come and teach.
Yes, which is what I do with Urban Ashram.
Okay.
They do the marketing, and I just come to teach.
Don't have to worry about people not showing up or people will show up.
Yes.
Okay. So,
And that goes back to your question.
yes. Correct.
Because if you have your own shala, it's difficult to make sure that there's someone who will attend.
Yeah. But personally, do you think? Because also I've interviewed a lot of guests here who talks about their business, and every time a question comes up na parang Rap, ano pang pwedeng itayo sa LU? So it's not naman that we're talking about it being a lucrative business, but do you think later on it could be a need? Like for example na parang okay, there's yoga studio talaga na it's there, it's a space, whenever you want to practice, just come, it's there.
I think at the moment, if you want to build a yoga studio, it will have to be in connection with therapy,
Okay.
like a medical aspect of it. Like you get injured, you go through the whole practice of yoga. Or if you have a spinal thing or even a joint that's loose,
And then in that way it becomes a need.
it becomes
It
a need.
becomes a need. Okay.
Or if you have a posture you need to correct, habits in surfing that you need to address,
Correct.
you can introduce yoga through the medical profession.
Okay, so you mentioned it already. What's next for Hello Surftown?
We don't know yet. Maybe a women's issue. Maybe women owners of surf rafts, surf schools,
Okay.
and then women entrepreneurs. Because our next target for release would be Women's Month next year.
So all three have been released this year. So next year na yung
Yeah, the
Okay,
third one will be released
soon.
soon.
Okay.
Hopefully. Soon.
Okay. Thanks so much for your time, Troy.
Thank you for
Any, I don't know, last words to our viewers about people who want to move to La Union or build a life here?
Well, there are a lot of opportunities in La Union,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the key factor for you to be happy here is to be connected with a community that lives here already. And not just the community of local residents, but the locals who've lived here way before any of us have come. So that's it.
Yeah. Community is the key.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Troy.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in today. So like what Troy said earlier, if you want to move here or, I mean, not even move, just if you're visiting here in La Union, make sure to remember that there's a community. There's a community established here. It's not that you have to follow what they do or listen to what they say. It's more of like respect. It's always important to be aware of what's happening in the place that you're gonna visit or you're gonna live. Okay, so stay tuned for more community content that will be coming out here in Alpas TV. Don't forget to follow, subscribe our social media accounts, Alpas La Union, Alpas Siargao. Come visit Alpas La Union here in Bacnotan. There's also Alpas in Siargao, and we'll always have a seat reserved for you. See you next time at the beach chair.